Park, it's the series finale between the Astros and the White Sox. Astros going for the series win, and they have Collin McHugh on the mound today. He's making his 17th start of the season, and he is looking for his very first win over the Chicago White Sox in 3 starts. Talking about the last 3 starts for Collin, he's feeling pretty good. Hasn't given up more than 2 runs in those starts, and they've all been quality starts. So he's on a roll right here. There was a turning point in the season, though. It happened to come against this team right here, Chicago. This was in Chicago back on May 19th, and he pitched a beauty against this team. 7 innings there, just a couple of earned runs against this tough team, 8 punch-outs. He did get the loss that day because he was facing none other than Chris Sale, who went the complete game that night. But Collin, with those strikeouts and with that night, things changed for him after that. He's been striking out guys at a lot more since that night. In his last 8 starts, he's 6-2 with a 3.78 ERA in that span. The curveball has been really key for him in getting all the strikeouts, just putting together more consistent outings, and that's something he's been working on all season. So going in with some confidence today, this can be a really aggressive, free-swinging team, so he'll have to execute tonight. He'll be out there in just a few moments. First pitch is around the corner. Astros, White Sox right here on Root Sports. Don't go anywhere.
Astros baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Jack in the Box. The Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack is back. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing too high. Another mid-90s day outside. Inside with air conditioning going, Collin McHugh takes the mound in a ballpark which has been very favorable to his record, 22-11, a 3.75 career ERA for Collin at Minute Maid Park. Here's the lineup he'll be facing. For Robin Ventura's Chicago White Sox, it's Tim Anderson at shortstop, Adam Eaton in right field, Jose Abreu at first base, Todd Frazier at third, Alex Avila the DH, Brett Lawrie's at second base, Dioner Navarro does the catching, batting 7th. He had the big game yesterday. Avisail Garcia's in left field with J.B. Shuck, the center fielder, and the pitcher's lefty Jose Quintana.
And Collin McHugh on the hill, trying to get over 500 now, 5-5 on the year. No decision as last time out. That at the Angels. 6 innings, pitch quality baseball, just a couple of runs against him. Strikeouts down in that one, 3 on the ball game. And that ERA right in the 4.5 mark, the whip close to 1.5, so room to be improved upon right now. Left-hand hitters have had success against Collin.
Tim Anderson gets it started, showing bunt and taking ball 1. Ryan Blackney's the home plate umpire. Anderson with a .295 average has 3 homers, 6 runs batted in. Corner infielders in close for the speedy shortstop, who swings through that heater at 90 to make it a 1-1 count. Anderson's a good-looking young player.
Well, defensively, he has played well.
He swings at that pitch. It might have been a cutter or late-breaking slider, but that's a really good pitch there, Ash.
Our MD Anderson peek at the strike zone here as we watch that little cutter. That really was an effective pitch. Ronnie, as you talk about Anderson, they felt like he was going to be a good offensive player. A lot of question marks about his defense, but he's played very well on both sides.
Strong arm, nice range, really good lively body, built for the sport of baseball. Curveball misses. 2-2. It's funny to say that because you see all different kinds of bills in baseball, don't you?
Watch this curveball. Does it catch the inside part easily? That's that catcher setting on one side and the umpire just not buying in.
Swing and a miss for a strikeout for McHugh.
That fastball pretty lively right now. Velocity is not riding up in the low 90s, but you can see that ride on it, that four-seamer that just wants to hold its ground.
We'll get into that more, but A.J. Hinch talked about that approach to these right-handed hitters. First 13 starts, a 5.40 ERA. The last three, a 2.31 for Colin. He gets a strike on Adam Eaton. 273, 4 homers, 26 runs batted in. Eaton had 2 hits and a walk in yesterday's game. He's 2 for 8 in this series. He had some base running misadventures. He has hit .333 against the Astros this season. Marwin Gonzalez on the grass at third as that ball goes off his ankle and rolls out in front of the plate. In fact, Eaton had some interesting quotes after the game yesterday, and he took full responsibility for what happened on the bases. He was thrown out at third base in the 3rd inning and then again in the 5th. And he just said he had a rough day on the bases, made some bad decisions.
Sometimes aggressiveness pays off. Sometimes it just puts you in those rough spots.
Strike 3 call. And Eaton is looking back at Ryan Blackney.
Are you sure, he's asking? I would say Blackney seemed pretty sure about this call. I don't know if it got the corner. Yeah, that's really well spotted by Colin. That fastball is, it's nice and alive right now. He's obviously rotating that four-seamer well.
Well, Jason Castro might have been Javi Lopez, and Colin McHugh might have been Greg Maddux on that pitch. 264 for Jose Abreu. He punches this one, and toward the right field corner, it goes foul for strike 1 on Abreu. But the way Castro was set up, the pitch was right there at the target. Abreu is always a threat to unload, especially on pitches away. He drives those balls to right center. Gomez hasn't played straight up in center field. He rips this one to left field, though. He turned on that one, bangs it off the wall. Jake Marisnick can't make the pickup, and that allows Abreu to get into second base.
I'm not sure, minus that bobble in left field, that Abreu even takes a shot on Jake.
He's not fast, and I think Jake would have made a strong throw, but it's ruled a double.
Yeah, Abreu's not one of those guys that is going to be overly aggressive for Robin Ventura on the bases. Jake is very aggressive, and he knew getting on that ball quickly had a chance of preventing the two-bagger.
He was close to that carom and just had very little reaction time. Todd Frazier now has a runner at second. That was Abreu's 19th double. That's a great moving pitch. This is exactly what A.J. Hinch talked about before the game. Using the high fastball and the cut fastball on these right-handed hitters. 204 for Frazier, 23 homers, 51 runs batted in. He said the White Sox right-handed hitters are very aggressive. And it's working so far in the early going. No balls, 2 strikes.
Little extra right there. 92 on that four-seamer. And he has ridden that pitch each time over the bats.
3 straight quality starts for Colin against the Cardinals, and then twice against the Angels leading up to this game today. Off the plate for a ball.
Of course, then you can't forget about that curveball from Colin, the strikeout weapon.
You might see it right here.
Baby-faced assassin.
It's wide. It's 2-2. You and Julia, though, were talking about the great curveball he threw to Mike Trout, only to see Trout unload a homer on it.
That's something you deliver a pitch that is right where you want, likely to be in the dirt, and Trout goes down, gets it, and drives it out. I guess that's what happens when you're facing great players all the time.
Right, and there's a time to give credit to the player, and Trout certainly deserved a lot of that. Bat got away from Frazier. The count stays 2-2 on the foul ball.
Ball's not carrying so much, but the bat is. This is emergency hack time right there. We saw Frazier yesterday put together quite an at bat, just battling tough pitches.
The Todd Father, they call him.
Yep. He has delivered with the home run ball.
Very amiable guy. He had quite a year in that home run derby a few years ago at the All-Star game. It was at Cincinnati. And the White Sox ballpark, U.S. Cellular, also is a home run haven. Now a reaching fly ball, could be trouble. Correa over the shoulder, makes the play for out number 3. No runs, a hit, a man left. Good range by Correa at short. 0 for the White Sox. Houston coming up. This starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It's George Springer in right field. Marwin Gonzalez playing third base, batting second today with Jose Altuve at second. Carlos Correa is the shortstop and the cleanup man, followed by center fielder Carlos Gomez, first baseman A.J. Reed, DH Evan Gattis, left fielder Jake Marisnick, and catcher Jason Castro.
On the mound, left-hander Jose Quintana, 27 years of age. He's 5-8. He was 5-1 back in early May, and has lost 7 straight decisions. 3.18 fine ERA for this left-hander, and he has made life quite tough for the left-hand hitters, just above the 200 mark.
George Springer is 4 for 8 lifetime against Jose Quintana. He gets it started for Houston. And that's ball 1 to George, a .259 hitter with 17 homers, 48 runs batted in, a .357 on base average. He has scored 58 runs in the Astros' first 81 games. Very nice run scored pace. Deep drive to right center field, extra bases, and 4 bases for George Springer on a leadoff homer. Number 18, and quickly it's 1-0 on his 49th run batted in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and welcome that swing. Here's your club leader in home runs. And he can drive it all over. The month of June wasn't kind in terms of the batting average, just .202, but let's get that bat hot once again.
Springer drops a bolt on Quintana for a quick 1-0 lead. That's a 4-game hitting streak now for George. That's quite a start for this Sunday crowd. Marwin Gonzalez tries to build on it. 253, 6 homers, 22 runs batted in.
You don't have any issues with that kind of start, huh?
Not a bit, but Mr. Quintana had been stingy with the home runs allowed, so that's really impressive for George. He has had some very good swings against Quintana, though, in his career. Off the plate, and it's 1-1. As for Marwin, playing third base today and bringing his right-handed bat to the number 2 spot in the lineup. He is hitting .276 as a right-handed batter this season with a .471 slugging percentage. Boy, he has been so valuable to this club. He's played all the different infield positions. He's played some outfield. Yesterday had that squeeze bunt for an RBI and a hit in the game as well, playing first base. Let's look at the Springer home run swing.
You're talking about our Gold Glove winner?
Yeah,
that's the guy. Goes oppo just as easy as could be. That unusual back foot style of his, but take that any day of the week.
It's been quite a year for the Astros with leadoff homers this season. Altuve's hit 6. Springer hit one off Yu Darvish earlier this season. So it's been a real heyday for the guys in the top spot in the lineup.
It leads me to ask what the most in a season for a club has been.
Yeah, good question. I'll go with Craig Biggio, but I'm not sure the number. There's a strikeout for out number 1. A reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Jose Altuve, the league leader in hits and batting average, with 113 hits, a .355 average. And he leads the majors in batting average as well. Take strike 1. Jose's hit .368 against the White Sox with a homer. 6 runs batted in the 5 games. Frazier gets the big one hopper. Turns it into out number 2. Altuve, who had the big day yesterday with a homer, driving in 3, is retired. And it's Carlos Correa following. Correa is on a 4-game hitting streak. Carlos had an RBI single in yesterday's 7-6 White Sox win. The Astros won Friday night 5-0, making this the rubber game of this series. The Astros have won 5 consecutive series. 13 homers, 51 runs batted in, a .269 average for Carlos Correa. And he's driven in runs in 5 games in a row now. That's a career high. In for strike 1. And that ties the longest RBI streak of games by an Astro this season. Colby Rasmus had a streak back in early May. Driving in runs in 5 in a row. Breaking pitch from Quintana's a ball. And Miguel Tejada is the last Astros shortstop to drive in runs in 5 consecutive games. That came in April of '08.
I think one of the telling individual numbers that could happen for the Astros this year is, does their shortstop drive in 100? And I think he will. And the way he's going now after a slow start on the year in terms of driving in runs, it's night and day. And he looks like a guy that I thought could very early in his career, maybe his first full year, be an MVP candidate.
Carlos takes a close one. It's 2-2.
That's one of the things that happened a lot for Carlos, especially early in the year, taking that third strike number of times, and I think he took one here easily.
Foul back. Quintana, during that 7-game losing streak, has had a 4.58 ERA. That's 0-7 in his last 9 starts, but run support for him has been awful. White Sox have scored 1 run or less in 8 of his last 9 starts. That's drilled foul, and that's been the trend for the last 4 years for Quintana. No run support.
I guess the coaching staff has no answer for something like that.
3-2. That's why he's 5-8 despite the 8th best ERA in the American League, 3.18. His numbers are really solid. Fouled away. This opportunity to win 5 consecutive series has not presented itself too often to the Astros in recent years. They won 5 straight series early in the season last year. They haven't had a longer series winning streak than that since '05. Bouncer, and here's the second baseman Brett Lawrie waiting for the first sacker of Abreu to get back to the base, and he gets him. George Springer leads off for the Astros by mashing one to right center field and making it 1-0 Houston.
Day presented by Whataburger at Minute Maid Park on Monday. 10,000 fans will receive a patriotic t-shirt presented by Cutter. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Astros looking for their 6th consecutive series win today. They would get that over the White Sox if they could pull this one out. And A.J. Hinch, their Geico quote of the day, talked about this before the game, saying he applauds the team for taking that mentality over the last couple of months. Win the series. He said they're not getting too low after losses like yesterday, and they're not getting too high when they go on these winning streaks like they have been lately. Winning series gears momentum towards winning baseball over the course of a season, guys.
Thanks, Julia. There is ball 1 for Colin McHugh. 1-0 Astros. Alex Avila DHing today, leading it off. 227, 3 homers, 6 runs batted in, 1 for 9 against the Astros. He's 0 for 5 with 4 walks in this series. In for a strike. 1-1. Colin has not beaten the White Sox in his career. He's made 2 starts with an 0-2 record, a 4.38 ERA. Julia earlier talked about his tough 2-1 loss in Chicago in May to Chris Sale, in which he really threw the ball well. Curve misses, and it's 2-1. The Astros are 10-6 in Colin's 16 starts. These two teams are pretty close in the wild card picture. Right at the knees for strike two. White Sox climbed a game above 500 with their win yesterday. The Astros are 5 games above 500.
There's that fastball that's running so well, and it's not diving, not sinking. A lot of people talk about movement on fastballs, but that four-seamer that rides is the strikeout weapon.
3-2 now to Avila with Laurie and Navarro to follow here in the White Sox second. That wild card picture is tight right now in the American League, as you would expect halfway through the season. Off the plate for ball 4. Avila draws another walk. Here's the way it looks. Boston and Kansas City are tied for the 2 wild card spots as of now. Detroit, Houston, and Toronto are all a half game out.
Yeah, that should set up for a, I don't know if fun is the right word. Maybe for the fan, a fun second half watching it. There'll be a lot of turmoil there.
Not fun for the players and managers and coaches, right? Brett Laurie with 11 homers has driven in 31 with a .254 average. .429 his last 10 games. 4 hits in this series. Foul ball comes over. Out of play for strike 1.
Yeah, you know, we didn't even look at teams like Seattle, the White Sox, Yankees, that yeah, they're going to be likely in that hunt as well.
Well, that's a good point, with Seattle coming here tomorrow to start a 3-game series just right on the tail of the Astros. Seattle is 1 game behind Houston. After winning 3 in a row, the Mariners are 9.5 behind Texas. The Astros 8.5. You know they're looking at that one as a big series for the Mariners. 0-2 for Colin.
Imagine the Yankees. You think they've quit yet?
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of tumbling around to be had.
Curveball's tapped foul, still an 0-2 count. Laurie with that defensive swing, and that sometimes is what a hitter has to do when that slow curve comes up there. He's set for the fastball, and yet with 2 strikes in the count, he can't afford to take that pitch. There's a high heater that works for strikeout number 3.
Again, even at 89. That 4-seam rotation working right now for Colin. You get the fingers right behind the baseball, rotated well coming out, and that ball doesn't want to come down. It just planes its way toward the plate.
And it was a good mix after throwing the curveball on the previous pitch to go up the ladder with that fastball. Dioner Navarro had quite the game yesterday, driving in 4. .223, 4 homers, 20 runs batted in. Navarro had a rare 2-run triple yesterday and also a 2-run single. He looks at ball 1. He is 2 for 5 against Colin McHugh in his career. White Sox are 11th in runs scored in the American League. They go back home to play the Yankees tomorrow. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dioner Navarro. 32 years old. He played for Toronto last year. Well-traveled catcher. He takes a strike, and it's 1-2. He's from Caracas, Venezuela.
Sometimes we see this fastball get away from Colin, but he is really painting it well, spotting ideally.
He is. He's locating extremely well with a fastball. Curveball bounces, and it's 2-2.
Pitchers will tell you, pitching coaches, if you can keep your fingers right behind the baseball, that's your truest sense, where you can put the ball kind of throwing darts, if you will. You get around that ball just a little bit and you start losing it. You get unusual rotations.
The way he's been dotting that fastball at the knees on the outside corner, then coming upstairs with it, is very effective.
Now that's the first one we've seen kind of run on him a little bit, and it might have been intentional. Could have been the 2-seamer.
Now 3-2 pitch coming. Navarro certainly is a double play candidate the way he runs. He's bounced into 2 this year. And he smacks that one foul.
Bat quickness can kind of come and go over the course of the season numerous times, and Navarro swung it well yesterday. You get a guy that is quick with the bat. That curveball, the changeup, can become quite effective.
See if we see one here. Off speed works for a strikeout. That's number 4.
That bat started early. You get to feeling so frisky there at the plate when you're feeling good, and then that off speed can get you. Taking a look now at our Super Mo presented by Mattress Firm. Really wasn't a great curveball. It was just the impact of pulling the string on it.
Yep. You called it.
And he still got away with it.
Showing you the location isn't always the most important thing with a pitch like that. Avisail Garcia takes ball 1. Garcia 246, 5 homers, 27 runs batted in. It was more the speed of the pitch that time than the location.
Yeah,
right?
just changing that look for the hitter.
Up and in on Garcia. The appeal went to first. He swung. Mike Everett with the call. That makes it 1-1. Garcia's played left field throughout this series in the absence of Melky Cabrera. Yep.
You know, and then you talk about what hitters go through. You may have guessed fastball right there and got it, but location was nowhere near where you were looking.
He's just really been locating the fastball and the cut fastball very well today. 1-2. Colin has had his first inning problems this year, but lately those have been ironed out the last few starts. Almost an inning-ending strikeout, but it popped out of the mitt of Castro, so it stays 1-2. This year is only the 3rd time since Minute Maid Park opened as Enron Field in 2000 that the Astros have reached the midway point with as many as 43 wins. And yet they've been to the playoffs 4 times. They've been very much a second-half club. It's hard to explain that because the players have certainly changed. 2-2.
Yeah, that's a surprising stat for me. Some really good clubs have come through here, and then you consider the rough go that first month plus of the season was this year. Quite a turnaround.
It is. Well, last year at the midway point, the Astros were 47-34. They're 43-38 now. 4 games worse off, so to speak, than they were a year ago.
The good news on that, though, is last year after that nice start on the year, first month and a half, the Astros actually played under 500 baseball.
That's right.
So I say good news this year. There's certainly room to make that happen.
Yeah. Now the runner will go 3-2, 2 outs. And it's a punch out. That is 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for Colin McHugh. 1-0 Astros.
Welcome back. It's time to take a look at our Chevy Stroh poll. Make sure to head over to the Root Sports SW Twitter page to vote in the poll. Which statistic best quantifies a pitcher's value? This is for all you pitchers out there. ERA, WHIP, strikeout to walk ratio, or FIP. Maybe another sabermetric in there. So let's see what you think, and we'll tell you who wins the Stroh poll later on in the broadcast. Brownie?
Thanks, Julia. You have your red, white, and blue ready for tomorrow. He's got his out today.
Ready. Wow, that's a great shirt.
That is a look. Fouled away. Carlos Gomez with strike one. 1-0 Astros. Quintana gets in front on Gomez, a .222 hitter with 4 homers, 20 runs batted in. He's hit .328 his last 16.
Julia Morales is all sabermetric all the time.
Yep. 1 ball, 1 strike. We've got one on her today, though. And tight, and it's 2-1. So red, white, and blue for Julia tomorrow. We expect just a great day at the ballpark. Military Appreciation Day tomorrow. 2-2.
We going red tops, red shirts, and blue slacks.
We're going red. Kevin doesn't have a red shirt, so he's going with blue. In the air, and the infielders move for it. Abreu. 1 out. Astros and Whataburger are honoring the military tomorrow. 4th time they've partnered on Military Appreciation Day. USO involved in the festivities. Lone Star Veterans Association, 1,000 complimentary tickets given to that organization for the event. Special pregame ceremony tomorrow. A giant American flag, representative flags for each branch of the military. A combat veteran will throw out the first pitch, so it should be a great day. A.J. Reed had a great day yesterday with his first homer. Fly ball left field, coming over Garcia. 2 outs.
That wasn't bad right there. And you could see where if he put a little more wood on that ball, he could drive it the other way. Much better swings now the last couple of at-bats. He got a center cut pitch to handle.
He had been looking at a steady diet of off-speed stuff, but his homer yesterday off Robertson was on a fastball, and that was a fastball. Evan Gattis takes ball 1. Gattis, a .222 hitter, has 12 homers, 33 runs batted in for Evan.
Yeah, A.J. Reed is very soon, I think, going to have to prove that he can handle the change again.
2-0 to Gattis. He is 3 for 10 lifetime against Quintana. The Astros are 3-2 against the White Sox this season. This is the finale this year between the two clubs. 3-0. These two clubs met, as you know, in the 2005 World Series. They certainly both have their playoff aspirations alive right now at the midway marker. The Astros have won 11 of 13. That one's foul. We got the green light, and now 3-1. Right-handed hitters are at .258 against Quintana. Left-handed hitters .209. Gattis takes a walk.
Looking for the perfect location for your special event? Minute Maid Park provides elegant event spaces and great entertainment in one of America's best sporting venues. Have your special event right here at Minute Maid Park by calling 713-259-8800 or by visiting astros.com/special events.
Jake Marisnick steps up. 176, 1 homer, 7 runs batted in. He's been on base in 5 starts in a row. Fouls that one away, strike 1. He had another dazzling catch yesterday and got a bunt single in 3 trips to the plate in yesterday's game. He was a pinch runner in the Friday night encounter with the White Sox. Colby Rasmus getting a rest again. Another tough left-hander, Quintana, after yesterday's tough lefty, Chris Sale. Marisnick really timed that layout yesterday, Ash.
Well, we saw him show up on our list of Gold Glove winning candidates for the ball club. It's because of his abilities like this, and he can do it time and time again. Maybe as good as they come in all of baseball for the outfield.
1-2.
And he can throw on top of that.
Yeah, if you really were to poll the people in uniform around the Astros, they'd probably tell you Marisnick is the best center fielder on the club. Here's the center fielder coming in for this one, Schuck, and the right fielder Eaton gets there for out number 3. After 2, it's 1-0 Houston. By Toyota. Well, we had to get our buddy Jeff Blum involved here. July 3rd, 2009, 7 years ago today, the Astros are at San Diego, and he hit a home run, but would it hold up? Because there was a delay in the game, not for rain, but for bees.
And here's your MVP on the day. You save a guy's home run early in a ball game when the bees show up, as they often do in San Diego. No. But, yeah, you got to earn the MVP award with that kind of performance, don't you?
Poor Blummer, the beekeeper, became the MVP of the game.
Blummer had his pom-poms out, was rooting for this guy, and it was all said and done. Fantastic day.
The ball girl who had that jacket, I think it was her hairspray that caused the bees to collect on the jacket, Ash.
Well, analysis like that can't be bought and paid for.
All right, 1-0 on the home run by George Springer. Here's Schuck. That's ball one to J.B. Schuck, former Astro at 242. 3 homers, 10 runs batted in. He's 10 for 25 his last 7 games, and he had a homer and an RBI triple against his former club yesterday. So Schuck had to enjoy that one just a little bit more against the organization that drafted him. Now 2-0 for Colin McHugh. Schuck is getting a chance at everyday playing time in center field with the injury to Damian Jackson. And in left field, as you know, we've talked about Garcia playing all 3 games in this series because of the injury to Melky Cabrera. 3-0 here to Schuck. Leadoff walk last inning for Colin McHugh. And another one this inning. Second walk of the game, and Schuck is aboard for Anderson.
Really the first hitter where Colin started to see that fastball get away from him, tried to come back in the end with the cutter and yanked it.
Anderson looks down at his third base coach Joe McEwing for signs. He struck out in the first. He's played 21 games as a major leaguer, and he's had multi-hit games in 10 of those. That's tied for the second most in White Sox history behind Gus Zernial. in 1949.
Never thought Gus would be overtaken.
Strike one to Anderson.
Not that easy, a lot of guys will tell you.
Fly ball right field, chasing Springer way back to the wall, leaping, and it's off that wall and kicks back toward the infield, and it's recovered by Gomez. It's a double. Springer is down and now getting up slowly at the base of the wall after slamming into that padding. He's telling Carlos Gomez he is all right, and he jarred himself on that one.
Yeah, you can tell that got him. Great effort there by George. When Springer goes back, you generally anticipate he's going to come down with the baseball, but just a little too much to ask right here. But guaranteed the next time you see him going back to the wall, you're going to anticipate another great catch. Never quite got there.
He has bruised a lot of walls around Major League Baseball. Runners at second and third now, nobody out for Eaton, who struck out looking. Infield plays back up the middle, and there's strike one. Now, the White Sox certainly threatened here after Anderson's 8th two-base hit of the year. White Sox banged out 13 hits yesterday in their 7-6 win. They were shut out on 5 hits Friday. Both these teams have pitched well against each other in the season series. Up the middle, one hopper. Here's the run scoring, and Correa spins and gets the out at first with a fine play. Sharks scoring. Anderson taking third on Eaton's RBI, his 27th of the year.
That was one of those line drives. And by the way, terrific play by Carlos Correa, who has been dealing at shortstop. But this line drive, if Colin could have been squared up and somehow come up with that, not rope of a line drive, might get a double play. But at that point, you have to rely on your shortstop, and you got a pretty good one out there to rely on.
Well, that took a great throw.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yep, that saved a hit. Runner at third now with one out for Abreu. Out toward right center field, and that's in for a hit to make it 2-1 White Sox. RBI single by Abreu. He's 2 for 2 in this game. That's his 49th run batted in.
Carlos Gomez never quite was able to come on and fully approach this ball. He's pretty well spotted in right center field. It's that double by Anderson that really sets things up. Of course, you could also point to the leadoff walk.
Frazier popped a short earlier on a good play by Correa out in left center field. Infield shifts around for him, showing bunt. Well, if he were to push the ball by the mound, he'd have an easy hit.
How many right-hand hitters might consider that kind of an option? Put it on the barrel as you push it toward the typical second base spot.
Well, you know, hitting cleanup, that would be a surprise, but nonetheless, it would be an easy hit for him. Fouled off the mask of Castro. 1-1.
I think we are seeing more efforts, though, for guys maybe trying to bunt, pick up a base hit to start an inning. But
Sure.
you're right. You're talking about a big home run hitter that is hitting in the cleanup spot. Not likely that he would try to bunt.
Still, though, if he does that a few times, that might bring that second baseman back around. It's what it's going to take to overcome these shifts and to try to get teams out of these shifts. Right?
Agreed. Yeah.
Because every team tracks exactly where the hits go, and if they see, you know, they're going to see a ground ball hit to the right side, whether it's a bunt or swinging away, and that goes into the data.
There are some guys very good at it. Other guys don't even try.
Frazier's down on strikes. 6 punch outs.
But I don't think there's a manager out there that would be upset at one of his guys picking up a base hit that's basically a freebie.
Excellent point. Good curveball in the dirt. Got him.
Let's had Yacker down there that winds up in the dirt that Mike Trout launched out of Anaheim.
Alex Avila drew a leadoff walk in the second inning. Back to the point you made on Frazier, though, it's something worth considering, certainly. Cleanup hitter or not.
Now, Bronny, I continue to wonder, and I'm sure it's happening in some places, some hitters, where there's a round of the batting practice or at least a few swings that is dedicated to the shift, hitting a ball through the other side.
Yes.
Should be.
And for a strike, 0-2. Zach Greinke's on the disabled list for Arizona with an oblique strain. Edwin Encarnacion got a 1-game suspension for bumping an umpire. One and two. The Oakland A's landed a 17-year-old Cuban prospect named Armenteros with an international signing. The Astros announced the signing of about a dozen, I believe, players, international signings yesterday. And they were Dominican and Venezuelan players. And you can expect more international signings from them. That's not the end of it. Shortstops Frutis Nova and Yuri Carrasco were two of those. 12 international free agents. And they had a pretty good expenditure on those. They have exceeded their dollar figure that they could use without triggering a luxury tax. So they're going to pay that 100% luxury tax for going above that amount that they were allotted for the year. Correa to his left. On over to Reed. And the White Sox grab the lead with 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave a man. They're in front 2-1.
Bottom of the third. And the Astros and A's hook up on Friday, July 8th, and 10,000 fans will get an Astros grocery tote bag presented by MLB Network. For more info, visit astros.com/Sundays or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Astros looking for the series win today after falling short yesterday. A frustrating loss for this team that actually got to one of the toughest pitchers in the league early in yesterday's game. Chris Sale was on the mound, and the Astros put 3 runs on him in just 1 inning. That was the 3rd inning yesterday. A lot of positives to be taken from that inning, the way the Astros found ways to score. They knew going in they might have to bunt, play a little small ball, and they did just that, even a safety squeeze yesterday. But putting 3 runs on him in that inning, putting 4 runs on him, the most they'd ever put up against Chris Sale, was a positive for this team because they are finding ways to score runs in many different ways, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Jason Castro takes strike 1 at 210. He has 6 homers, 21 runs batted in. And Castro is 4 for 17 with 3 runs batted in against Quintana. That's in the air, and the left fielder Garcia comes over into the corner for it, but it's foul. And they are very glad it is.
Bring those gloves, make those plays. Those are great moments for the kids, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a big smile.
She'll never forget that foul ball.
Beautiful. Castro takes in the dirt. You mentioned Quintana has not allowed a homer to a left-handed hitter. That is in 91 at-bats this season. He's been stingy, and the White Sox are the stingiest team in allowing homers in the American League. Upstairs, and it's 2-2. Quintana was born in Colombia, 27 years old. Castro whacks one on a line for the right field corner. That two hops the base of the wall. He's headed for second, and he will check in with a leadoff double. Good throw from Eaton right on the base, but Castro gets his 10th double.
This was not the best of breaking balls from Quintana, but from the perspective of Jason Castro, he hangs in there, stays closed all the way, catches one through the heart of the plate, and barrels it up very nicely. And we mentioned up top that left-hand hitters have had a tough go against Quintana.
There's a guy who can throw, Ash.
Yes, he can. He's aggressive, too.
Boy, right from the right field corner. He leads the league in outfield assists with 11. George Springer hit his third leadoff homer of the year in the first. There's strike one. The Astros have 9 leadoff homers. Jose Altuve has hit 6.
That's not even a reasonable number.
Springer takes. It's a strike, and it's 0-2 to George.
Pretty tough combo right there. Good heater on the inside edge. Change down and away.
Quintana has led all American League left-handed pitching in fewest homers per 9 innings since 2012. Less than 1. 0.75 homers per 9 innings on the average since 2012 for Quintana. His major league low run support is 1.37 average runs per 9 innings. Springer backs out of there, and it's 2-2 to George. You have to go way back to Ross Baumgarten back in 1980 to find the last White Sox starter to receive 1 run of support or less in 7 straight starts, and he has 2 today. So it's a bonanza for Quintana already. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Thought I saw some balloons and confetti down there in the dugout.
He doesn't seem to be ready to celebrate yet. He has the longest losing streak in baseball this year, 7 in a row now.
It's hard to pitch that well and lose that many straight.
Yeah, his whip during the last 9 starts, 0-7, is 1.29. They want more. Foul back.
That swing right there could produce more. Got one to hit. And took his best hack at it. Don't get many like that.
Well, Springer starts the second half with his 18th homer. Altuve has 14. Correa 13. Evan Gattis 12. Colby Rasmus 10. That's a walk, and he started 0-2 and worked walk number 2 of the day for Quintana.
Our Lexus defensive ratings as we look at this White Sox outfield. And we've talked about in right field, obviously Adam Eaton Very good outfielder. That 10 ranking. Don't run on him. You don't run on Avi Garcia's arm in left field either. Not nearly the outfielder that Eaton is. J.B. Shuck, yes, you can run on him. Guy that covers some ground in center field, but a couple of guys that throw quite well.
Marwin Gonzalez struck out in the first inning. The White Sox outfielders have 25 outfield assists for the season. The Astros have 25 themselves. Frazier's creeping in at third, and around to bunt. Marwin takes strike one.
You know, if the intent actually was to bunt there, and Marwin has, you know, you were talking about it, a couple of bunts, dropping down safety squeezes, RBIs here recently. You don't want to pull the bat back and take a strike in that scenario.
Well, the WRC plus figure of 88 indicates that he certainly should be bunting here.
Oh, yeah, I've got that figured out.
He bunted, but it's foul.
Yeah, that's the thing. You wind up pulling the bat back, taking strike one with a bunt scenario on, and then you leave yourself only one. And now with 2 strikes, you got to go to business swinging it. Never understood it. I've had managers in the past that just go nuts when a guy pulls the bat back and takes a strike on a bunt.
Yeah. Now 0-2, and it's unlikely he would be bunting, so Frazier drops back. And the idea would have been to have runners at second and third with 1 out on a sacrifice. He's still around there and taking this time, but confident butters will do that. They'll stay with that bunt plan with 2 strikes.
Now I wonder about this entire at bat. Is this a bunt from AJ? Is this Marwin saying I'm going to get a job done? And with 2 strikes, I think it's clearly the latter.
That's the way it would appear. Jose Altuve's on deck. Struck him out. 1 out. That's strikeout number 2. Now Altuve will try to pick up Marwin Gonzalez after the bunt attempt failed earlier, and then the swing and miss. Altuve grounded to third in the first inning. 943 hits for Jose, and they've been loyal in displaying those numbers as the countdown has been on.
And by the way, that at bat, just a reminder to some folks that dropping down a bunt is not a gimme in the major leagues. Tough assignment.
Yep. Big at bat here for Altuve. He is 3 for 21 lifetime against Quintana. Not too many pitchers can hold him down like that. Foul tip for strike one. Altuve just having a marvelous first half through 81 games, 113 hits, tying Derek Bell in 95 through 81 games.
Well, as good as Derek Bell was, a dangerous hitter, I never would have guessed he could compile that number of hits in that time frame. The same as Altuve.
Deep to center field. Shuck is backing. He's there though for the catch, and the runners will have to retrace. 2 outs. Now Carlos Correa tries for a 2-out delivery. He bounced out to second in the first inning. The Astros are 9-14. 9-14 in games started by left-handed pitchers.
That makes no sense to me. You can go through this lineup, and some of these right-handed bats, it ought to be made for the left-hand pitchers.
It is puzzling. Correa is hitting .293 with men in scoring position. In close for ball 1. Now Quintana, his first year in the big leagues, 2012, was 6-6 with a 3.76 ERA. The next year, 9-7 with a 3.51. 9-11 with a 3.32. 9-10 with a 3.38. Tough luck pitcher for his career. 2-0. Blue Jays 5, Indians nothing. Bottom of the 6th inning in Toronto. Jay Happ on the mound. Corey Kluber started. He gave up 5 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings. Russell Martin hit his 7th homer. Fouled away. 2-1 to Carlos.
Carlos just got a 2-0 heater to handle right there. And to speak what he's doing to what he's doing, he aggressively went after it. But that's when you don't want to miss.
Carlos Gomez is on deck. Driven to center field. Schuck is underneath it, though. And Quintana's out of trouble. First and second, nobody out, and then nobody moved. No runs, a hit, 2-man left after 3, 2-1 White Sox.
Presented by authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
It's 2-1. The White Sox lead it. They got 2 in the third inning to grab the edge. It'll be Brett Lawrie leading it off for them here in the fourth, to be followed by Navarro and Garcia on this July 3rd. Patriotic weekend. Lots of red, white, and blue. We'll see a whole lot more of it tomorrow. That is a day game tomorrow. The Seattle Mariners opening a 3-game series at 1:10. Lance McCullers pitching against lefty Wade Miley. Brett Lawrie gets underneath it. Towering pop. Correa out into shallow center field. One pitch, one out for Colin McHugh, and Laurie's 0 for 2. Navarro will be next. He struck out in the second. The Mets are pummeling the Cubs 11-1 in the top of the 6th inning in New York. They've given the Cubs a rough time in that series. Noah Syndergaard has the lead. John Lester left after giving up 8 earned runs in 1 1/3 innings. Wilmer Flores has hit 2 home runs. Breaking pitch, strike 1 to Navarro. Curtis Granderson hit his 14th for the Mets. Well, the Cubs have come back a little bit. With the pace that they and the Texas Rangers set, it would be only logical to expect gravity to take effect on those two clubs. Chicago's 51-29. Texas is 52-30.
Cubs have had that huge run differential that is on their side on the year.
Curveball and strikeout number 7. Yeah, they have. Bobby Garcia struck out on a 3-2 count in the second inning. White Sox are only 2 games behind the Astros. There's strike one. Tampa Bay leads Detroit 1-0. They're in the middle of the 7th inning in St. Petersburg. Tigers have had a little resurgence lately. Springer is back in right field, calling for this one. It's a quick 4th inning. Only 6 pitches needed by McHugh to keep it close at 2-1 White Sox.
The 4th inning. Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston. How about pinch hit home runs by the Astros in a single season all-time record? Cliff Johnson is the king of them all, y'all. Back in '74, Orlando Merced, Matt Downs, Justin Maxwell. Where is he today? Some guys that had some nice years with the pinch hit dinger.
2-1 White Sox. Carlos Gomez looks at ball one. He hit a pop to first in the 2nd inning. Not sure where J-Max is right now.
Just heard minor leagues with the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
Talented player, I think we would agree.
Yep.
Nice guy, too.
2-0. Yeah, we enjoyed his time here. In for a strike. 2-1 to Carlos Gomez.
Is that guy that comes to the big leagues, you think every now and then this guy has a chance to be really good. To me, Justin Maxwell was one of those guys.
2-2. A.J. Reed will be next, then Evan Gattis. Off the plate, full count. The new magic number in baseball, Ash, is 88.
Let me think on that one as I look at this pitch. This is taking pitches really close with a couple of strikes. 88.
Foul back. In 3 years with the 2nd wild card, 30 of 33 teams with at least 88 wins made the postseason.
That's a lot of wins. The Astros did it last year with 86.
First baseman comes over Abreu and in toward the line. 1 out, Julia Morales.
Thanks, Brownie. A.J. Reed coming up here, who's had a good couple of nights. Starting to feel more relaxed after getting that first big league knock on Friday night in his home debut here at Minute Maid Park. Altuve faking that he threw the ball. That ended up in his locker. Then he got his first home run in his major league career yesterday, coming in a pinch, too, in the 9th inning off a very good pitcher, their closer. And he said he was just looking for something over the plate right there, got a hold of a cutter. And facing the left-hander today, this is what A.J. Hinch wants to see from him. He wants him to have success over the lefties because he wants him to be an everyday player. So hopefully we'll get going and help out this lineup any way he can, guys.
There's strike one. He hit a fly ball to left on the first pitch, his first time up on the fastball. It's 0-2 to Reed.
You better get it ready when you're facing a guy like Quintana.
One ball, two strikes. White Sox won 76 and lost 86 last year. Strike three. Third strikeout for Quintana.
AJ doesn't look convinced, but you best not be taking that pitch.
Evan Gattis drew a walk in the second inning. This one stays near the plate. Navarro is calling, and that's a quick fourth for both pitchers. 2-1 White Sox. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. Out there in Old Town Spring, it's in the mid-90s today. 2-1, the White Sox leading the Astros. Colin McHugh going back to work for inning number 5. He gave up 2 runs in the third. And he throws strike one to J.B. Shuck.
You cover the weather and everything now, huh?
Somebody, I think we had a shot the other day, and we said it was in the mid-90s, and somebody was wearing a jacket in that shot. Correa out to shallow center field. And retires Shuck, 1 out.
Have you noticed, speaking of the jackets, the nice, rather pleasant, coolish evenings?
No.
Last night, another nice one for anybody who did get out.
Okay.
I realize it's not like 68 degrees, but quite pleasant for this time of year.
That works. Especially come fireworks time, right?
Yeah.
Tim Anderson had the double in the third. That created problems. A big part of the 2-run inning. He moves back from the curveball, ball 1. Anderson struck out his first time up. Anderson took over at shortstop from Jimmy Rollins when he came up from AAA this year. He lines this one to left center field. Anderson gets hit number 2 of the day.
Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices with MLB.TV Premium. which includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for your details.
Adam Eaton grounded out, and that gave him an RBI in the third inning. He is 0 for 2.
Yeah. Tim Anderson's going to enter that young shortstop conversation, isn't he?
Yeah, he has looked good in this series. And he's drawing a throw there. He's 2 for 2 in steals. White Sox do not do a lot of running. They are in the middle of the pack in stolen bases. And there's ball one. Abreu's on deck. The Rays leading the Tigers 1-0. We mentioned bottom of the 7th inning. Chris Archer started, but he was gone after 5 2/3, needing 115 pitches. Mike Pelfrey's on the mound for Detroit. Tigers are 43 and 38, right there with the Astros after 81 games. Those two teams still have a series to go. For the Astros, it's 3 with Seattle this week and then 4 with Oakland through next Sunday, and that leads us into the All-Star break. So back to divisional play all week. 2 balls, no strikes. Boston leads the Angels 4-0. They're in the bottom of the 5th. The Red Sox really took a shellacking yesterday.
John Farrell, their skip's taking a lot of heat.
Sean O'Sullivan is pitching shutout ball for them today against Matt Shoemaker. Yeah, Clay Buchholz got lit up last night for the Red Sox. 3-0 now to Eaton. And Abreu, who will be next. Abreu's 2 for 2 in this game. In for a strike, 3-1. Doug Fister went 4 2/3 yesterday. Michael Felice stepped up with 3 innings for the bullpen. Mike fires with a good 6 shutout frames Friday night in this series for Houston. Runner going, and it's fouled on 3-1.
Well, there's that running game that is not a big part of what the White Sox do.
Eaton was a 10th round pick of Arizona, or 19th round in 2010 rather. Throw goes over the first. He's not been a big run producer, but had a career .284 average coming into this season. Anderson's going on 3-2. There's one by Correa, who is going to cover, and Anderson will get to third on the single. Gomez gets it back into Altuve. Eaton has a hit, and runners are at first and third with 1 out.
Carlos Correa had to give ground with the left-hand hitter at the plate. Runner on the move. At that point, Correa's got second base, and Adam Eaton, a contact hitter who really sets it up nice for Robin Ventura when you've got Anderson on base. That running game likely to become a larger part of play with Eaton in that spot.
Yep, it could work for them. Abreu has doubled to left and singled in a run to right center. Frazier's on deck. 4 hits for the White Sox. So at this point, this confrontation looks big for Colin McHugh. That's rolled foul. Oh, the bat splintered. It sounded like it was hitting balsa wood.
Probably one of those cupped ends, and yeah, you can see it.
There you have it.
Baseball catches just a little piece of that cup, and it's blow-up time.
Well, the bad boy can go home and play some jarts in the backyard.
Jarts?
Ever play jarts?
No, I don't think. Never heard it called that. How do you play jarts?
It's like a big dart, like a gigantic dart. It has a point in it. You throw it, try to get it inside a ring, kind of like a dart version of horseshoes.
Already way too complicated for me.
It has some wings.
Nice.
No balls, 2 strikes.
If it comes with instructions, I'm not playing.
Back when you were a kid, of course, they didn't have jarts. We were into all the Alan Ashby memorabilia yesterday, right?
We've seen a lot of that in the last 24 hours, yes.
I have one that's going to bring back memories for you today. The gummed reinforcements. You remember that one?
No, I don't.
Oh, come on.
And I'm really grateful to, you know what, now that I've opened this, I'm starting to get a little notion.
Swing and a miss, and Abreu is down on strikes.
There's a big out for Colin.
Oh, so big. 8 strikeouts. Boy, did he need that.
Yeah, he did. You don't want to let this game get a little further apart the way Quintana is working. Curveball is really dynamic when the strikeout is needed. Really, I don't know where you're coming up with stuff like this, but
Diane got it out of the drawer. Todd Frazier's 0 for 2.
That was one of the dark, deep drawers that you haven't been in for a while.
There's strike 1. They're gummed reinforcements. They're round. They're sticky. And when you were a child, even though you don't remember using this, remember notebook paper? You used to have the notebooks, the 3-ring binders.
Of course. I was actually kind of stuck there on round and sticky. I had some good-looking donuts in mind.
Well, sometimes those pieces of notebook paper would tear. So in order to reinforce the ring or the holes in them, you had these gummed reinforcements you could stick on a piece of paper, right?
I haven't seen those at the grocery market, the quick sell stuff there at the checkout stand lately.
Well, Julia was wondering what these were today. And remember typing paper? You type something on typing paper and then you punch the holes in it and put it in a notebook before computers, right?
We had all the pocket protector stuff with you yesterday. Now you got the. Did this come out because of that conversation yesterday?
Kind of.
Yeah.
See the gummed reinforcements there? You just stick them on a piece of paper and it helps. But you claim no memory of this, right?
Oh, I guess I do. I was waiting for the electronic age to come along.
All right. 3-1 now. Avila on deck. Fastball fouled away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now the runner from first would take off on the next pitch by Colin McHugh.
Would not be surprised at the curveball here. Dangerous hitter at the plate. That cutter could be a factor for Colin.
It was big for him earlier in this game. You remember typing term papers, Ash?
I do, but yeah, that was always a challenge.
Runner goes and it's foul.
There's the cutter, as maybe anticipated.
There are the jarts. See, now you've played jarts, haven't you?
No.
No?
We were out playing wiffle ball while you were playing jarts and cleaning up your pocket protector.
Well, the jarts unfortunately found their way into many emergency rooms across the world.
Oh, I'll bet.
After that game came out.
I'll bet. Wiffle ball, backyard basketball. We've had some street hockey.
Oh, almost a strikeout to end the inning.
So close to a big pitch for Colin. Football out in the street. The neighbors loved us. Well, I'm sure you were more popular with the neighbors.
Oh, really?
Well, the jarts probably wasn't.
Oh, the jarts.
They weren't quite as offensive.
We didn't actually play jarts. We just watched other people play jarts.
We just talked about it, huh?
We did play-by-play of the jarts game. Runner going from first, swing and a miss. Big out for Colin McHugh. Struck out Abreu. He struck out Frazier, the 3-4 hitters, to keep this game at 2-1 White Sox in the 5th.
Tuesday for our Cy Young winner by joining us in Keuchel's Corner, presented by Houston Methodist. You get a ticket, beard, and a Keuchel's Corner t-shirt with the package. For more info, visit astros.com/Keuchel's Corner or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Hey, Brownie.
Yes.
I thought those reinforcements, I thought they were stickers. Why did you have to lick them? Was that first? Or?
Well, that was just what we did for entertainment, actually. We didn't have to do it, but, you know, that was...
Never heard of that.
That was legal at the time, but probably isn't anymore. Jake Morris takes strike one. You got me on that one. Fly ball to right field. Adam Eaton comes over, and there's out number one in a 2-1 game.
You Midwestern kids.
Yeah, things were a little boring. Now Castro will come up. Jason ripped a double to right field in the 3rd inning. And Quintana holding on to this lead after falling behind 1-0 after the leadoff batter he faced, George Springer, ripped the home run.
Okay, Brownie, you've done it again.
Oh?
You brought the original Jart game that I was involved in.
Now the hieroglyphics people are at it.
Yeah.
Inside ball 1 to Castro. Back when Ash was a young catcher in ancient Egypt, they did this in the caves.
Oh my.
Castro fouls it. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You have evil designs.
Well, a day game yesterday, day game today, day game tomorrow. It's an unusual facet of the schedule this time of year.
I enjoy being in Chicago this time of year.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike. Nationals 9, Reds nothing at the end of 6. Steven Strasburg has a no-hitter through 6. 3-1.
He just came off the DL, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Wilson Ramos hit his 13th homer. Danny Espinosa, number 17. That was a grand slam. Bryce Harper, number 17. Castro hits it in the air, and the center fielder Shuck moves in for it. 2 outs. Last year, George Springer.
Do you remember the big 5-hit game for George in Chicago? He came against Quintana. 4 of the 5 hits did anyway. It was when he started going back up the middle into right field, and boy, it turned things around enormously for George. And now today he goes the other way off Quintana, and the results were not bad. A little more carry on this one.
Inside ball 1 on George.
Whatever it takes to kind of spark that memory of the great swing.
2-0. As you know, dramatic things have happened with the Astros since Springer moved into that leadoff spot. Astros are 26-10. And he has an 836 OPS in those games. 2 balls, 1 strike to Springer.
You know, it really is kind of an intriguing combination of numbers, though, because again, the month of June saw George hit only 202. Hit 5 home runs.
Yeah, he's a different kind of leadoff man. He checked his swing. Mike Everett with a call, ball 3.
But your numbers on that overall that goes beyond the 1st of June say he's been getting on base, making it happen.
Yes. And he has scored 59 runs right now. Anderson makes quite a play. We go to the 6th inning for Collin McHugh. It is 2-1 White Sox. the international free agent signings for the Astros now, and they included 5 of Baseball America's top 50 international free agent prospects signed yesterday from Venezuela and the Dominican. And we'll see those catchers. Jose Alvarez, one of the catchers, then shortstop is a prominent position always. You see a number of shortstops who signed. Freudis Nova was the prominent name. He's a 6'1", 175-pound shortstop from the Dominican Republic, and he was 5th overall by Baseball America among all the international prospects. Chris Devenski warming up for Houston. 2-1 White Sox. Here's the 6th inning, and Avila. Ball 1. He has a walk and a ground out. Brewers and Cardinals are scoreless, just underway in St. Louis. Michael Wacha pitching for St. Louis. Two 2-0. Pitches for Colin McHugh. Quintana has retired 9 in a row after the leadoff, after the walk to George Springer, the second batter he faced in the 3rd inning. 2-1.
9 strikeouts for Colin. A couple of walks mixed in, and it's going to get you deep in that pitch count.
He continues to pitch well during this stretch. This has a chance to be his 4th straight quality start. Ooh, close one. 3-1.
I think Jason Castro is having a couple of comments.
Borderline. Avila takes another walk. Boy, has he had the walks in this series. That's a total of 6 walks for him, and he hasn't had a hit in the series. That's the 3rd walk of the day for McHugh. Red Laurie is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a pop up to short. Phillies lead the Royals. It's 5-2 in the top of the 7th inning now at Philadelphia. Vince Velasquez started. He gave up 5 hits and 2 runs in 6 innings. Cameron Rupp hit his 8th homer. Cody Ashe number 3. Alex Gordon hit number 6 for the Royals. Giordano Ventura didn't last through 3 for them. Curve, strike 1 to Laurie. Laurie is 1 for 14 in his career against McHugh. Since joining Houston after he was claimed off waivers, McHugh is 35-21 with a 3.63 ERA. The bat moved, but did he go through with it? Nope. Check swing.
Oh, I might disagree here. The bat appeared to wave pretty well. And there was a delay, and that delay will kill you on this for some reason. Look at where that bat goes.
Yeah.
And no swing. Now, even sitting here where we sit, and it's not your ideal umpire spot, I will grant, but that was pretty obvious.
Yeah, it looked like a swing without the replay, and then with the replay as well. Marwin, Altuve, quick turn, but safe at first.
That was a gem of an effort. Tough spot from Marwin in terms of trying to get rid of that ball, but he did so quickly and accurately. Altuve turned it quickly, but Red Laurie runs well. But ranging that far and then trying to make that accurate throw, just beautifully done. Cannot make it better.
Yeah, 2 big hops, and he had to range, as you said, far to his left. Then was not in a great throwing position, but he made the nice accurate throw to get the first out. Dioner Navarro has struck out both times. Bangs one off his foot. There's strike 1 with Garcia on deck. 5 hits for the White Sox, 2 for the Astros. No errors in the game. McHugh has generated a higher percentage of soft contact on balls in play than all but 2 active American League pitchers since 2014.
Take that to arbitration.
Yeah. One and one. Twins 4, Rangers 2, bottom of the 5th at Minnesota. Cole Hamels started for Texas. He's given up 10 hits and 4 earned runs in 4 innings, throwing 90 pitches.
Could that pitching staff wilt?
I think it could. Injury's a part of it. Fouled away. The starter yesterday lasted less than 1 inning, Gonzalez.
And I guess, you know, that overall, the run differential for the Texas Rangers, does it really indicate that they're as good as they've played in the first half? I don't know. I think they've had fortune on their side, but they've played well.
That's the beauty of the 6-month season, right?
You've talked about the Pythagorean theorem and what it comes out to, that run differential. We'll get to that.
What do you have for us?
Well, the Rangers start the day 52 and 30, and that's great baseball, 22 over. With the theorem mixed in, blended all up, it should be 45 and 37.
Okay.
So they've won 7 more games than the run differential says they should have won.
Okay.
I don't know what that says for the second half, though.
Let's see what they are in 1-run games. Line to Correa. 2 outs.
Well, I've got that number for you.
Okay.
1-run games for the Texas Rangers. They are 18 and 6, so they have been exceptionally good there.
Yeah.
And they're just a game over 500 in blowouts. But you kind of get the gist. When it's a close ball game, they've found a way to win.
Well, the stat mavens say that they're due to slow down. But then most teams playing 6:30 baseball will probably slow down, right?
That's probably pretty easy to predict.
Avi Garcia's 0 for 2. Steven Strasburg left the no-hitter after 6 2/3 innings. 109 pitches. That's ball 1. You indicated he just came off the disabled list, so the pitch count got him today.
Yeah, the question I think with Strasburg is, will he make their postseason roster if they get there? Good grief. It's a tough game these guys are playing.
Yeah, it is. Two 2-0.
What was it? Has it been 3 seasons back that Strasburg was unable to make that postseason?
I think it was 2012.
It's been 4 years back then.
Yeah, I believe. And remember, they said, "Oh, we'll be going to other World Series."
It'll happen year after year now. It doesn't work that way.
Now 3-0 to Garcia. I want to see that new red cap they're selling for July 4th. It's in the shop.
You know what? I might have to do a little shopping for that myself tomorrow.
I'm going in tomorrow.
You going to get the flat bill?
Yeah. Ball 4. 4th walk, and now runners are at first and second for J.B. Shuck. 4-pitch walk, and now Shuck, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. We'll wait because A.J. Hinch is on his way to the mound. Bullpen gate is swinging open. Chris Davinsky's been warming up. And that'll do it for Colin McHugh, who goes 5 2/3 today, and it's 2-1 White Sox. Back in a moment.
Colin McHugh here this afternoon. Strong stuff, and started out just blazing with a riding forward seam heater. Curveball and the combination with the cutter and heater, picking up 9 strikeouts on the day. Lost command at times, a few walks, no doubt hurting Colin. And 1 inning. That's sometimes all it takes when you're facing tough opposition with the pitching, but nice day for Colin on the hill.
2-1 White Sox. Chris Devenski takes over now with runners at first and second. 2 outs for J.B. Shuck. Devenski finished the 5-0 win Friday night with 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs. Off-speed pitch, ball 1. Devo throws that pitch often. It's one of the effective tools he uses to retire left-handed batters. He's put together 6 straight scoreless outings, covering 11 innings. In for a strike, and it's 1-1.
There are a lot of pitchers who have to be convinced to utilize their changeup. Not with Devo. He believes in that pitch.
He's 3rd in ERA among American League rookies. Back to Devo, and he gets a very important out here in the 6th inning, leaving 2 runners stranded. Bottom of the 6th is coming. 2-1 White Sox, and the Astros have their 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up. Gonzalez, Altuve, and Correa. Lane Wisdom. See, Ash, a lot of people played jarts back in the day.
Where's your pocket protector?
Well,
I don't see you using all the
no.
the pluses of the day.
And the slide rule.
Yeah.
They all factor in there somewhere.
Do you actually want to stand there when the darts are coming flying in like that?
You do not want to be in that same yard.
Would think
those
not.
jarts come in there. Fairly dangerous.
Seems like bad defensive positioning right there.
Bocce ball works well, though. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-1 White Sox. Marwin Gonzalez with 2 strikeouts. Takes strike 1 on a breaking pitch. And Marwin was at the plate in the 3rd inning when the Astros had something going. Castro had doubled to lead off the inning. Springer had walked. He couldn't get a bunt down and then struck out. And then Quintana kept it rolling, getting Altuve and Correa on fly balls to center field. That was right after the White Sox had handed Quintana the 2-1 lead, and he's made it hold up.
Yeah, that might be for me the key negative at bat for the Astros today. That led an inning. Well, it led to an inning getting away.
Right. And Julia pointed out earlier how the Astros were resourceful yesterday with 2 bunts in 1 inning, and they scratched out a lead against Chris Sale 4-2. And sometimes against a really good pitcher, that's the way the game plan has to work. in order to be successful. Eaton is back in right field. 1 out, and that's 10 in a row retired by Quintana since that walk to Springer in the 3rd. Well, Quintana's rolling along. Altuve hoping to upset the apple cart here. He's grounded out and hit a fly ball to center. There have been 9 fly ball outs for Quintana in this game. Anderson, 2 outs.
Looking now at our Ford spray chart, let's take a look at Carlos Correa. That generally gives you a pretty nice look at a guy dealing now before and since moving into that cleanup spot. On the left before, well, you see some of the numbers well spread out around the field, but since moving into the cleanup spot, I think he's decided to charge the ball a little bit more, pull some balls, and 47% of balls hit to left field. Now the result, so maybe just more of an aggressive nature for Carlos.
He's 0 for 2 in this game. He's worked a 3-2 count and a 2-1. Only 2 hits allowed by Quintana. Ball 1 to Correa with Gomez on deck. Shuck is over in right center. Eaton is there as well. Eaton has it for a quick 6. That's 12 in a row set down by Quintana with a 2-1 White Sox lead through 6.
White Sox. We have a winner in our Chevy Stroh poll. This one all about the pitchers today. Thank you for voting on the Root Sports SW Twitter page. Which stat best quantifies a pitcher's value? You guys going with the old ERA, 54%. There's not a lot voting for FIP. There's some of those other sabermetrics.
You voted for FIP, didn't you?
You are not going to be able to sleep now, are you?
No.
You just like saying that word, that's all. Tim Anderson with strike 1. He is 2 for 3.
Well, I want to hear where would Julia go on that? What's most important on a pitcher?
Most important? I like FIP, but I don't know if I'd go most important. I like WHIP a lot.
I'm with you on that.
So I may vote WHIP.
You know, though, I'd like to be forward, progressive in my thinking. I probably would still have to stick with ERA.
Is that why you never played jarts?
Well, I wasn't going to cross to the dark side back in those days, and I'm not inclined to do so today.
1 and 2. Julia, of course, very, very knowledgeable about statistics, and I agree with her.
I thought you were going to say jarts, and I was going to have to tell you were wrong. Like you said statistics, so we're all good. I didn't know where you were going.
So, Julia, you're both going whip on that one.
Yep.
I'm going whip.
Okay. Huh. Well, it's a great stat. It tells you how many base runners there are against a guy, but it doesn't differentiate the home run or the big hit.
No.
And therefore, I have probably. I need something else. There's something that, you know how the hitters now have the OPS and it tells you so much.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's a number like that for pitchers.
All right. How about game score?
You know, if we grew accustomed to using that number, I think it could be really valuable.
Yeah. I like game score.
But I don't think 95+% of baseball followers know what they're seeing when they see a 63, for example.
Agreed. Probably 94.2% of baseball broadcasters don't know it either.
Oh heavens, I'm deeply entrenched in that number.
Yeah. Three-2 for Debo in relief of Colin McHugh, who went 5 2/3, allowing 5 hits, 2 runs, walking 4, and striking out 9. Astros bullpen has been terrific. 2 hopper to third. Marwin Gonzalez takes care of out number 1. The Blue Jays are beating down the Indians 14-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning in Toronto. Corey Kluber gave up 5 earnings in 3 1/3. Jay Happ checked out after 7 innings of 5-hit, 1-run baseball with no walks and 11 strikeouts.
How would the whip work out on that one?
Really well. Strike to Eaton. Not sure what the FIP would have been,
Now,
though.
you know, the game score would tell you something because it takes into consideration the strikeouts, the walks, pretty good number.
Yeah. Eaton flicks that one foul. Colin McHugh threw 103 pitches, 64 of them strikes. The Astros will have Gomez, Reed, and Gaddis due up in the bottom of the 7th inning. This game pretty much in character with most of those games these two teams have played this year. Low scoring, good pitching.
So let me throw a number at you then.
Okay.
You've got Colin McHugh today. He doesn't go quality start because he only gets 5 2/3 innings. But he allowed just 2 runs. Earned runs against him. So for me, that was a good quality start. It won't qualify again, but he allowed 5 hits and 4 walks in those 5 2/3 innings. So whip-wise, it's not going to be a good one.
Okay. You're making a point.
I'm not sure what the point is, but
Well, the point is he pitched better than that whip figure might tell some people. Right?
and that is the truth.
No, he did.
But, you know, in the end, if we could all just get along with game score, we might have something.
Back in left field, Marisnik. 2 outs. Can't we all just settle on one statistic?
I think we really should, Brownie. I've got one we can settle on. The Coca-Cola Value Nights package is one of the best ballpark bargains. This special offer is available for select Monday through Thursday games and scores a ticket, hot dogs, soda, and popcorn for just $18. For more information, visit astros.com/Coke or even Coke Value and call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
That is a very good bargain. Abreu hits one foul. There is strike 1. He is 2 for 3 with an RBI in this game. Yeah, this homestand really could tell a story leading up to the All-Star break, especially with the Mariners coming in tomorrow at 1:10, game 1 of that series. Whoa! Abreu's drilled by the pitch.
I don't think Jose Abreu took real kindly to that one.
Well, he shot a look out at the pitcher.
Ooh, that got him good.
Well, Abreu's been drilled 8 times this year, so apparently other pitchers have had that same idea of not letting him go to work on a pitch over the outside part of the plate. They want to keep him honest, and they're missing inside, evidently, just guessing. Didn't look like he wanted to be kept honest, though.
And sometimes, even if you don't necessarily think they were coming at you, you just want a little comfort room. That hurts. Mess up your day.
Like he got it around the left triceps
Yeah,
area.
sure did.
Todd Frazier's 0 for 3. That's a strike. Devenski has hit only 2 batters. He's pitched 55 innings. I think with him, though, he's afraid of those hitters leaning out on that changeup away. And in order to make that pitch work, he has to use the fastball inside from time to time. 0-2. Boy, has he provided a lift for this pitching staff.
He and Michael Feliz, those 2 guys that have improved the staff where you didn't have that anticipation at the start of the year.
Right, and then Scott Feldman in relief too, with the multiple inning performances. So those 3 guys have come in from time to time and gone 2 2/3, 3 innings, even more than that, to cut down on the appearances of the other guys. Two and 2 to Frazier.
There's that fastball we saw a lot early in the year from Devenski, 94 miles an hour.
If Devenski keeps his current ERA up to the All-Star break, it would be the lowest for an Astros rookie prior to the break in history. Ken Forsch has the current franchise record. He had a 2.27 ERA at the All-Star break in his rookie year of 1971. Very good pitcher. He was one of those 3 guys who threw no hitters with you behind the plate, right?
Forsch,
yeah,
Ryan, and Scott. Yeah, great memories.
Toward the right field corner, Springer with a long run makes the catch on the track. No runs, no hits, a man left. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. God bless America on this July 3rd, 2-1 White Sox.
It's our Sunday afternoon tradition here at Minute Maid Park. It takes on a special meaning, especially this Independence Day weekend. We invite you to rise now and take pause with us as we honor our great nation and salute those who defend our freedom around the world each and every day. Now, please join Rick Godfrey for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairie, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Godfrey.
stretch period right now. Fans enjoying it. Meanwhile, we look ahead to tomorrow at 1:10. It's Wade Miley and Lance McCullers. Tuesday, back to night baseball for Taijuan Walker and Dallas Keuchel. Wednesday, it's Wade LeBlanc and Mike Fiers with the 3 games with the Mariners here. Very important games for both the Mariners and the Astros.
Today's a big one too. You want to keep that winning streak going with the series that the team continues to compile.
Carlos Gomez leads it off. Pitch number 87 of the game for Jose Quintana is strike 1. Gomez twice has popped to first base. 2 hits allowed by Quintana. Eaton in right. 1 out. That's 13 straight set down by the White Sox lefty. Bullpen action. Luke Gregerson for the Astros. A.J. Reed is 0 for 2. Fly ball to left and a strikeout looking. Matt Albers is warming up for the White Sox. And strike 1 to Reed. Happy 15th birthday to Knox Hagelston today. And we want to send our best out to Zach Ham, who has an injury. 0-2.
That's 5 consecutive strikes over 2 at bats now that Reed has taken against Quintana, just unable to pull the trigger on this lefty.
Springer led it off in the Houston first with a homer. Castro led off the 3rd inning with a double. Those are the only 2 hits allowed, and there have been 2 walks and 3 strikeouts for Quintana. Now 2-2. Shuck back into right center field. On the track.
Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders. Most innings pitched, single season since 1960. Look at the difference in what guys did back in those days. Wilbur Wood leading the pack, Mickey Lolich. Wilbur Wood again, Steve Carlton, of course, Gaylord Perry back in that 73 season. Those are some big innings numbers. Did those guys have arm troubles? Of course, Wilbur Wood, knuckleball pitcher, but I don't know. It was a different mindset somehow.
Ball 1 to Gaddis. Yeah, it was.
I don't know how mindset impacts arm, but those guys seem to find a way through year after year.
Several factors have gone into that, of course. That was behind Gaddis. All right, now we got a warning. That was retaliation.
Oh, you bet.
For Abreu being hit. So now both teams are warned. The White Sox got their shot of retaliating, and A.J. Hinch is out there right in the home plate umpire's face. Ryan Blackney, and you know, he could have been tossed because it was rather intentional, right? So it doesn't have to be a warning. It could be an ejection. That's up to the umpire to decide.
AJ's hot too. And yeah, there's a difference in these 2 locations.
That's right.
One is clearly intentional. One, Chris Stavinsky was not trying to hit Abreu, in my opinion.
Yeah, this was behind Gaddis, so obviously intentional. The other one was not so obvious. Abreu thought it was.
Abreu wasn't happy, and I wouldn't be happy about getting drilled like that either. But I think you'd have to ask yourself, was it intentional? Probably not. Do the Astros want another base runner on? I'll tell you what, that lit AJ right up.
Oh, you know it. Well, you know, in the baseball thought process, you throw a ball behind a hitter. That is so dangerous because his natural tendency is to move back, so right into the baseball. If you throw it at him, he has a chance to move back and get out of the way.
May I say, Mike Everett, as we watch that pitch that missed just a bit. Mike Everett, the first base umpire, crew chief, did a really nice job in settling things down with AJ. Now, I don't know that he's convinced AJ at all. But now the problem is even from your side, the Astros, if you come inside and the umpires deem it intentional, manager and pitcher out of the game.
Yes, sir. Now it's a 2-0 count. Three and it does get dicey, even though both sides have been warned. And as you say, it does not mean that a pitcher can't come inside, but there's not a whole lot of leeway.
Do so with caution is really what it's all about.
Yes. Three and one. Crowd's fired up.
You know who didn't get fired up was Evan Gattis.
No. Very calm through the whole process. 3-2.
Looked like a good pitch at the knees. I think Evan agrees.
A shot will go foul. There's nothing this crowd would love any better than to see Evan Gattis hit one out of here.
You could sure use one of those big swings right now, couldn't you?
That would be very helpful. 14 straight Astros have been retired by Quintana. And he's battling. Jake Marisnick's on deck. Quintana's just crossed the 100 pitch barrier a couple of pitches ago. He gets a strikeout. That's 15 straight retired. He has struck out 4 through 7. It's 2-1 White Sox. DeMontrond Auto Group, a 2-1 game. Chicago and Houston now through 7. The White Sox are 1 game above 500. They've had a big day from Jose Abreu. Jose Quintana has had their best day, retiring 15 in a row. Nate Jones warming up in the bullpen for the White Sox. The Astros have had a George Springer leadoff homer, and their 3, 4, 5 hitters are 0 for 12. Jason Castro has the only other Houston hit through 7, a double. We go to the 8th inning, And the shift is on for lefty hitting Alex Avila. He is 0 for 1 with 2 walks. He's walked 6 times in this 3-game series. There is strike 1. Chris Devenski's pitched an inning and a third. He's not given up a hit or a run. He hit Abreu with a pitch in the top of the 7th inning. Luke Gregerson was warming up, but is not right now. Brett Lawrie's on deck. Deoner Navarro's due up 3rd in the inning. Change up makes it 1-1. $30,279 is the paid attendance today. Great crowds throughout the weekend. All crowds above 30,000 for this series. Slicing line drive left field corner. And Marisnick digs it out, fires in towards second. Great play to hold Avila to a single.
Better believe that's a heck of a play. Yeah, look, Avila doesn't run well, but I guarantee you, standing at first base right now, he feels like he's let himself and his teammates down by not getting a double on that ball. A lot about Jake Marisnick.
Pinch runner for Avila is Tyler Saladino. He goes into the DH spot. Brett Lawrie is 0 for 3. Well, a play like that can be so important in an inning. Keeps the double play in order. Pushing a bunt back off the screen. Lawrie falls behind. 0-1. So now the White Sox will try to advance him in a 1-run game, and that's what changes things so much when a play like Marisnick's comes along to start an inning. Instead of leadoff double, the Astros can turn 2 now.
We've seen how difficult it can be to try to double up Brett Lawrie.
Runner going. He had a big jump. Stolen base for Saladino, the pinch runner.
Yeah, that's off of Chris Devenski.
Fourth steal for Saladino.
He nabbed that one pretty handily.
Yes, he did. So the runner gets to second anyway, and now it's a 1-1 count on Lawrie. That's what can make up for a play like Marisnick's if the runner can steal a base. He's dancing toward third now, and Devenski's looking right at him. In for a strike, 1-2. Now this becomes the important game of this inning. Does Lawrie get him to third or not? A shot into center field. Saladino's being sent home by McEwing. Here's the throw to the plate from Gomez. It is not in time to get him. 3-1 White Sox, and Lawrie continues into second base after the RBI single for his 32nd run batted in.
Well, that extra 90 feet right there, costly as well, but obviously a huge run for the White Sox. Carlos came on hard. Hit that throw that's not cuttable, and I'd actually have to see that one again. But if you give that alert base runner like Brett Lawrie a shot to take the extra base, he's going to take it as soon as that ball comes out of the hand and you see it's up for the cutoff man.
Big hit for the White Sox. Now it's Navarro. He's 0 for 3. Infield is shifted around. That's strike 1 for Devenski. And now Gregerson has gotten up at the bullpen again. Avi Garcia is on deck. In the air and foul, out of play. Now the Gomez throw was in time, but it handcuffed Castro. It was a little bit toward first, and it short hopped him. So he was unable to stay at home plate, and and make the tag on the pinch runner Saladino.
Got a great throwing arm in center field. There's no question. But as we've said numerous times this year, accuracy can be an issue.
Foul ball keeps the count at 0-2. We'll look back at it.
See what this looks like coming out of the hand. And yeah, I don't know if A.J. Reed feels like he can get up another foot or so, maybe make that play. But obviously for Brett Lawrie, as soon as he saw this ball come out of the hand, it was go time.
That goes through into left center field for a hit. That's going to be another RBI hit and make it 4-1 on the single by Navarro. He just reached out on the 0-2 offering and took it to left center, and he has had a big weekend.
Right off the end of the bat. You depict it perfectly. Just kind of a protection swing. Right, maximizing results.
A.J. Hinch obviously has been tossed for this game, so Trey Hillman is managing. He's going to go to the bullpen for Luke Gregerson. White Sox up 4-1. Back in a moment. Two here in the 8th inning on 3 consecutive singles with nobody out. That's led to a pitching change, and it's Luke Gregerson coming in to face Garcia. Luke has really been throwing the ball well lately. 3-1, 13 saves, and a whip below 1. Ash.
Yeah, if you want to go by that whip quotient, he's had a heck of a year. ERA above the 3.5 mark, so it's kind of a balance there. But he keeps the ball in the ballpark, just a half a home run per 9 innings. Not giving up a lot of hits. Obviously very tough when he's on his game with that slider.
He got wins in 3 consecutive appearances. The 21st, 22nd, and 27th of June. Last 2 times out. He has pitched, gave up 1 run in 1 inning and closing out a 10-4 win in Anaheim. Now Garcia is 0 for 2 with a walk. And the slider works for strike 1. It's 8 hits for the White Sox, 2 for the Astros today. Oh, and 2. Struck him out. That was quick work.
Like I say, when his stuff is on, he'll chew some guys up.
J.B. Shuck walked and scored in the 3rd. He's 0 for 2. Astros will have Marisnick, Castro, and Springer due up in the last of the inning. Minnesota leads Texas 5-4. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Target Field. Altuve backhands, flips out of the glove to Correa. He got the out, but then lost control of the ball. It was spectacular for out number 2.
Won't see it done better in terms of what Altuve was able to do here. Not only does he glove a very tough play, but the flip is perfection. It could have been maybe a foot further out in front for Carlos, but I think you can forgive anything that came up shy at all there. That is gorgeous work.
It really is.
Wow. Really, you go back and watch that time and time again, and I'm not sure you can set it up any softer and nicer. He says, my bad. Yeah, exactly where.
Yeah. Where did he go wrong? White Sox had thought about challenging at second, but decided not to do it. Now Tim Anderson, who's 2 for 4, is the batter.
No, excuse me, Bronny. We handed out our awards, among them Gold Glove, before the game, and
yeah.
I mentioned that Altuve was a guy that I actually considered, along with the vote that I gave for George Springer. But Altuve's play at second base has been phenomenal.
It has been top notch. You're right. Gold Glove level again. 0-2. We look back at the ejection of A.J. Hinch, and that was early. That was a quick hook. He'd been warned by the home plate umpire Ryan Blackney not to come out, and then when he came on the field, he was tossed. Was not even allowed to plead his case. Runner goes, swing and a miss, and a strikeout ends it. Here in the top of the 8th, the White Sox add to their lead with 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave a man. They're up 4-1.
And we move to the bottom of the 8th. The hits were hard to come by for the Astros against Jose Quintana. Good news, though, he is out of the game. Nate Jones in now. Astros will get a peek at their bullpen late in this game. And the Astros have actually had pretty good at-bats. Their last 5 games, they've been good as the game has gone on. In the 7th inning or later, we've seen them score a lot of runs, 16 to be exact in those last 5. They've gone 4-1 in those games, but a lot of extra base hits, even some home runs. We saw A.J. Reed coming up in the 9th with a big pinch hit home run for him. But A.J. Hinch talked about this yesterday, saying these late inning runs or rallies in this case breeds confidence. Belief you're 1 or 2 swings away. 3 runs down here, guys. They have a little bit of work to do.
Quite a bit, and it starts with a pinch hitter, Luis Valbuena, against relief pitcher Nate Jones, a right-hander with a 4-2 record at 2.68 ERA. Hard thrower. Valbuena's pinch hitting for Marisnick.
Right-hand hitter's not throwing a party right now, and he's got a nearly 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Valbuena is 1 for 2, a homer against Nate Jones. He takes strike one at 96. Valbuena at 256 has 9 homers, 28 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, he's 1 for 2. Castro and Springer to follow. Michael Enoa in the bullpen for the White Sox. It's 0-2. Nate Jones got his hold against the Astros yesterday with 1 hitless inning with the 7-4 lead in the 8th inning. Came in with a couple of men on base and gave up an Altuve sacrifice fly. And gets a foul tip strikeout here.
Better dial your stuff up when Jones comes on.
17 holds this season for Jones. Quintana threw 102 pitches in 7 innings. He allowed 2 hits, 1 run, walked 2, fanned 4. He's in line for win number 6 of the year. That would snap a 7-game losing streak for him. Castro doubled in the 3rd, hit a fly ball to center in the 5th. Strike 1 to Castro. With the 17 holds, Nate Jones ranks 4th in the American League. He usually gets the 8th inning work.
Stuff is rushing up there.
Boston leads the Angels 7-5. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Fenway. Strike 2 to Castro. Baltimore and Seattle are underway. No score, bottom of the 2nd at Safeco Field. And the Mariners head for Houston. Strikeout, 2 outs. We promised it earlier in the game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. George Springer hit his 3rd leadoff homer of the season.
Oppo job. And that's what he did last year against Quintana. Going the other way anyway. Great start to the game for the Astros offensively. It has cooled down since. One big opportunity back in the 3rd inning. It got away.
Springer rips one on the ground. Anderson down on a knee. Takes his time, throws him out. We go to the 9th, 4-1, Pale Hose. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Let's go see the Tigers and the Bears at the Houston Zoo. It's 4-1. The White Sox leading the Astros. We move to the 9th inning, and Will Harris comes in for some work. 0-1, 7 for 7 in saves, a 0.78 ERA. 23 hits allowed, all of them singles this season.
All of them singles. That's not possible. That's our Cy Young Award winner in the first half of the season, and deservedly so. Just great numbers. Second consecutive year now in an Astros uni.
Adam Eaton gets it started in the 9th inning. The Astros will have Gonzalez, Altuve, Correa due up in the bottom of the 9th. White Sox pitchers have retired 18 Astros in a row. Upstairs, ball 1. Eaton has driven in a run. He's 1 for 4. Chris Davinsky went an inning and a third, giving up 3 hits, 2 runs, with no walks, no strikeouts. Luke Gregerson faced 3 men and retired 3 men. 2 hopper to Correa. There's 1 out in the 9th.
There are reasons Will Harris has had great success. Opponent's batting average against his fastball alone this season, 185, very comparable to last year. I don't know what was going on back in 2012, but that is not the guy we've been watching for a couple of years.
Abreu has 2 hits. He was hit by a pitch. There is strike 1. If Will Harris does not give up an extra base hit in this inning, he will set a new franchise record, going 35 games without giving up an extra base hit. Dave Smith shares the current record with him from '87 for Dave. 0-2. Charlie Furbush was the last major league pitcher to go 34 games without giving up an extra base hit. From April 25th of 2014 through June 9th last year. Furbush is situational lefty.
Yeah, for me that's a bit different.
Yeah, it is. He might face 1 or 2 batters quite often.
Going to get his left-handers, and you know, by the book he should get those guys.
That is so impressive. 34 games without giving up an extra base hit.
Well, even that little pop fly that goes down one line or the other that drops.
Sure. That can happen by accident. Curve makes it 2-2 to Abreu. Fouled away. Baltimore has failed to score in the top of the 3rd. 0-0 Baltimore and Seattle. Ubaldo Jimenez pitching for the Orioles against Hisashi Iwakuma. Astros and the Mariners, who will play tomorrow, have played 7 times. Seattle has won 4 and Houston 3 of the 7 this year. Lance McCullers comes back into the rotation tomorrow for that 110 game against Wade Miley. Miley 6-4, McCullers 3-2. Get here early for all the pregame ceremonies. Struck him out. Well, Ash, there's another photo of you from one of your early teams.
You know, the folks have been phenomenal digging up some stuff on some of these sites.
We actually got this out of your scrapbook.
Oh, that came from there. I'm sure you had some of those little sticky rings all over it.
We did that too, and we had the hole punches, and just had a field day with the whole Alan Ashby tradition.
Nice the way you repaired the jart hole there in the middle of that thing.
There's ball 1 to Frazier. He is 0 for 4. The life and times of Alan Ashby.
Yes, sir.
Dating back to the 1890s.
I feel like a young man again.
In for a strike, and it's 1-1. Two and one for Will, who went 26 straight appearances without giving up a run earlier this year. That was the third longest scoreless inning streak by an Astros reliever for a single season in club history. So he has indeed done many excellent pieces of work here in the first half of the season. And that low ERA is indicative. Batting average against him has been .200 for the year. Line shot into left field. A single for Frazier. That's hit number 9 for the Sox.
For a guy not hitting for a high average, that was real nice hitting on a tough breaking ball.
Tyler Saladino came in to pinch run for Avila and scored after stealing a base. 255, 5 homers, 20 runs batted in for Saladino. He's had 110 at bats this season. Saladino went 0 for 2 with a walk. He was in the starting lineup Friday night at third base. Snap throw to first. Ooh, they got a shot at him but didn't get him. Frazier had strayed too far and Castro zipped the throw down to Reed.
Astros now have that left-handed first baseman that really lends to this play of the tag, and yet somehow Reed comes up empty. Todd Frazier using some guile down there. See if we get a better peek here. Throw that glove in front of the bag. Oh my goodness.
He did the Michael Phelps.
Yeah, Michael Phelps just, I don't know if he threw the deke, he just got it there quicker, didn't he?
Yeah, slipped the right hand underneath as the glove was trying to tag his left hand. He stopped that one. That was a pretty good swim move. Without that move, he's back in the dugout right now.
But minus all of that, you see how the advantage that left-handed first baseman has on that kind of play.
Yes. And he did it perfectly, Ash. He went down on a knee.
Yep.
At his body position, but
I wonder what AJ Reed is thinking in his first week in the big league. Some of the stuff that's gone on.
Yeah.
And these guys are pretty good. You're right. Right down to the knee, glove down by the bag, and yet Todd Frazier wins that war.
The wily Todd father was able to get himself back to first base. On the curveball, it's a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. His curve has been sharp in this game. We don't often see him throw this many.
He's got that natural cutter on the fastball, and then gets over the top of the curveball nicely. Just a couple of pitches, generally speaking, but fairly high quality pitches.
And the throw goes over on Frazier. Runner going, and it's a two-hopper to third. Marwin Gonzalez throwing to first. New club record for Will Harris for consecutive games without allowing an extra base hit. White Sox 4, Astros 1. Bottom of the ninth is coming.
Astros, it's right down to the wire. 9th inning coming up for Houston. Jack in the Box takes us inside the box score. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. Red hot stars right now for the Astros in the minor leagues. How about Alex Bregman at AAA Fresno in 4 games? Great numbers. A couple of home runs. He's hitting for power, driving the baseball all over the place. Teoscar Hernandez has been really good in his 4 games. So just a recent call-up for these 2 guys. And numbers are really indicating they are anxious to move along.
David Robertson, the White Sox closer, comes out in a save situation, a 3-run lead with 1 inning to go. Nate Jones had a 1-2-3-8 with 2 strikeouts. Robertson's 22 of 24 in saves. He's converted 12 in a row, including 1 yesterday. Gave up a 2-out homer to A.J. Reed, but White Sox won at 7-6. Marwin Gonzalez is 0 for 3. 18 straight Astros have been retired. And it's ball 1 from Robertson. Altuve and Correa to follow in the Houston 9th. Marwin's 0 for 3 against this right-hander. He rips this one. Now he has a hit off him. It caroms out toward Eaton. He will hold with a single. Well, that's another great throw from Eaton. Jack in the Box takes us inside the box score. That's the Astros' first hit since the 3rd inning. We see Altuve and Joe Morgan in Morgan's MVP season with a Big Red Machine 1976. Of course, Altuve through a half season has numbers that at that rate look very, very favorable to Joe Morgan's 2nd straight MVP year with a Big Red Machine when he was surrounded by Hall of Fame hitters.
How impressive is that?
Yeah. Now Altuve 0 for 3. Fouls it for strike 1.
A little more aggressive swing for Jose right there.
He is 0 for 3 against Robertson in his career. Robertson, the former Yankee, certainly served the White Sox very well. Moving from setup to closer, so just a tremendous comparison there. Altuve at this pace would steal 42. His WAR would be 9.2 compared to Morgan's 9.6 for the full season in 76.
I guess that pretty well justifies the MVP year for Joe.
Tap to second. Laurie gets the out, and that's out number 1 on the force play on Gonzalez. And Carlos Correa will follow. He's 0 for 3. Carlos Gomez on deck. White Sox pitchers have struck out 6. But there has not been a lot of hard contact by Astros hitters on a 3-hit day. Strike 1 for Robertson. The Mariners just got 4 in the 3rd. They lead 4-0 over Baltimore after 3. Seth Smith hit a home run off Ubaldo Jimenez. His 10th. He's hit about 3 in 3 games too. No balls, 2 strikes. David Robertson got save number 100 of his career. June 24th against Toronto. 7th in the majors in saves since 2014. He's from Birmingham, Alabama. Went to the University of Alabama. Fouled away. Robertson's career against Houston, he's 0-1 with a 4.05 ERA and 7 saves. Good block by Navarro. It's 1-2. Yankees are trying to avoid being swept at San Diego. They are 0-0 in the top of the second against the Padres. Toronto blasted Cleveland today 17-1. The Mets boxed around the Cubs 14-3. Detroit beat Tampa Bay 5-1. Washington measured Cincinnati 12-1. Phillies beat Kansas City 7-2. Foul tip strikeout, 2 outs.
Ball may have hit some dirt. Don't know.
Carlos was checking with a home plate umpire, Ryan Blackney.
See what we can pick up on this. Foul tip. There's no question here.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that's a foul tip into the dirt. That's not a strikeout.
No, that hit the ground.
Assuming Carlos did make contact. Now, that was what I thought was in question, or not in question, was the foul tip. But, well, not going to play out that way.
Carlos Gomez is 0 for 3. Runner takes off. Altuve into second without a play. Defensive indifference. Now Navarro goes out. A.J. Reed is on deck. Gomez would love to keep things going, keep the Astros alive, get Reed to the plate as the potential tying run. He delivered a homer off Robertson yesterday. He's worked the count to 2-0. The Rangers are batting in the top of the ninth at Minnesota, trailing the Twins 5-4. 3-0 now.
Yeah, this would be a very nice base runner to get, bring that potential tying run to the plate.
Fingernail biting time for some. 3-1. Ball 4, and Reed will bat.
There you go.
Reed is 0 for 3. Todd Frazier comes over to talk with Robertson. Reed hit a 1-0 fastball from Robertson into the Astros bullpen with 2 outs in the ninth inning yesterday for his first major league homer. Evan Gattis comes out to the on-deck circle. Lowry's out in right field. Ball 1 to Reed.
Did you dream about those starring moments in the big leagues?
One and one.
That dinger by Reed yesterday, fastball out at the outside edge, but he was able to turn around a bit. Likes to extend the arms.
One and two.
But he is not close on the 2 breaking balls here. I would did not think he would get a fastball here to handle.
No, he probably is going to see another one of those curveballs. Maybe a cutter. Curveball struck him out, and that's the game. And the White Sox win this series 2-1. Robertson picks up his save, and Quintana snaps that 7-game losing streak, going to 6-8. Beating Colin McHugh, who slips to 5-6. So the White Sox, after being shut out Friday, bounce back to win games 2 and 3, dropping the Astros to 43-39. Final score: White Sox 4, Astros 1.